Chapter 6. Before dawn, a handful of courtiers, including the high priest and the royal doctor, see us to the palace quay. A small boat is waiting to take us down the canal to the royal barge. The doctor is giving the pharaoh the latest news on the vizier's condition.
He has regained consciousness.
The doctor looks embarrassed. Why do you stop? Asks the pharaoh. Go on, speak.
He says that a large hippo roams freely in the royal bedchamber, and that it is shooting arrows of some kind from its backside. He claims that one of the arrows hit him in the forehead.
I'm speechless, says the pharaoh, in the gravest tone I've ever heard him use. What total nonsense, adds the high priest, in the most dismissive tone I ever heard him use.
The vizier had too much to drink last night. He must have fallen and hit his head on something. Did you not say he had a bump on his forehead, not a wound?
What the high priest leaves out is that the pharaoh summoned him to the royal bedchamber to examine the unconscious vizier. He left and returned with 3 servants. Swearing them to secrecy, he had them carry the vizier down to the banqueting hall, where someone was sure to find him and call the royal doctor.
Of course,
says the doctor, who looks as if he regrets ever having spoken.
All I want is permission to enter the royal bedchamber.
I hear both the pharaoh and the high priest swallow hard.
To show my patient that there is no such hippo. That what he believes happened was an hallucination brought on by an injury to his head when he fell.
The pharaoh is silent. He can't deny the doctor's request. The vizier is, unfortunately, his uncle.
I grant you permission.
The high priest stares at the pharaoh in disbelief. The pharaoh nods towards the palace. It's a signal for the high priest to get to the royal bedchamber, fast, and remove all traces of the hippo.
My king, the high priest says, I regret having to leave you, but it is getting late and duties in the temple await me.
Go, and may the gods be with you. That is, may the gods help you out.
I will miss you,
the high priest says to me. We'll be back in a few months.
By then, I will have finished my next project.
I'm afraid to ask what it is. The high priest leaves. I've never seen him walk so fast.
My king, the doctor says, I must attend to my patient.
Yes, of course. But first I want your advice on something, says the pharaoh, trying to give the high priest a bigger head start.
For some time, I have had this...
It's still dark when we reach the dock, where the royal barge awaits us, along with smaller barges providing quarters for the servants and carrying supplies and equipment. The royal barge is brightly illuminated by numerous torches, some on the barge itself, others carried by men lining the dock and the shore. The prow is an enormous black cobra with golden scales, the stern a gigantic blue lotus flower, the top of the rudder a gilded cat's head. The hull is covered with paintings in vibrant colors which show the pharaoh fishing in the company of gods. On the deck stands a single cabin, his quarters. On the sides are scenes of wild birds flying in the marshes. At the entrance are columns covered in gold and precious stones. The royal barge is as beautiful as Ra's day barge is said to be, which, at dawn, having defeated his enemies in the underworld, he steers into the sky. The pharaoh and I board. The last time I got on a boat, I was held by the scruff of my neck. Now I board not only of my free will, but walking erect at the side of the king of Egypt. The pilot stands in his place at the prow. The oarsmen are in their seats, the helmsman at the stern. All await the pharaoh's command. When he raises his right hand, the royal barge moves away from the dock, followed by the smaller barges, and our voyage has begun. The farther we go down the Nile, the fainter my memory of the vizier becomes. Behind us, Wasset and its worries. Ahead, nothing but pleasure. But for now, nausea. On the cargo boat, I was ill as well, but I thought it was from the poor food. Now I realize I suffer from seasickness. I spend the first few days of the voyage in the cabin, feeling better by the time we near Abjel, the city sacred to Osiris. We'll visit the temple built by the pharaoh who was an ancestor of the pharaoh's mother. The pharaoh has told me he was a great king, and as the highest of all the high priests of Egypt, he himself will perform the morning rituals in his honor. The royal barge arrives at the temple dock, where the pharaoh and I disembark. A small boat sent by the overseer of the temple takes us along a narrow canal to the temple quay, where he and a slew of other priests greet us and offer us a litter with intricate inlays of ebony and ivory. The pharaoh gets on, but I decline, preferring to stretch my legs. The sphinx-lined avenue leading to the temple is covered with petals and whole flowers, and I enjoy the coolness of the floral carpet under my paws. As we go up a long ramp to a terrace and pass through the temple pylon, the large flags and the poles flanking it ripple in the wind as if saluting us. In the court, we come to a stop before 3 young priests standing side by side near a well. One has a gold ewer in one hand and a silver ewer in the other. The priest in the middle holds an alabaster bowl in outstretched hands. The third priest holds a gold tray on which rests a linen towel richly embroidered with gold and silver. When the pharaoh rises from the litter and places his hands over the bowl, the priest holding it begins to tremble. "There's nothing to be afraid of," the pharaoh says. After his hands are cleansed by water poured from the ewers, he dries them with the embroidered linen towel, the priest gripping the gold tray tightly, afraid lest he drop it. Who can blame the young priests for being nervous? It's their first time in the presence of their king, an honor they will never forget, one they will boast about to others in the priesthood who have not been so lucky. I'm offered a bowl of water to wash my forepaws, not by a priest, just a servant. "No, thank you," I say. "I'll lick them clean." The pharaoh laughs, and the young priests join in. When the laughter dies down, he gestures at me to join him. "Rapa Hamen," the pharaoh says. "I must perform rituals at 7 chapels, so I will not see you for quite a while. Come with me as far as the inner temple." We walk in a straight line, across the court, up a ramp, through a portico, across another court, up a ramp again, and through another portico. A doorway in the back of the portico leads to a dark columned hall. The massive lotus bud columns make me feel like an insect in a gigantic marsh. "I must leave you," the pharaoh whispers. "I hope you will not be bored in my absence." "Don't worry," I whisper back. "I'll find a way to pass the time." He turns and walks across the hall, as imposing as the massive columns he passes. This dark, mysterious place, where reality and illusion overlap, makes me yearn for the clarity of daylight. I go back the way we came, head for the garden by the pool, and lie down on the first pillow I find. The songs of the numerous birds and, from the inner sanctum, the rattling of the sistra, and the mingling odors of the burning myrrh and the hekunu oil invite me to sleep, sleep, sleep. My limbs feel heavy. My eyelids are so heavy. A mummy appears to me, head exposed. A woman, her wig the color of the night sky, with hundreds of precious stones sparkling like stars. Her desiccated face is as white as alabaster, her eyelids painted gold like 2 half-moons. Her pitch-black glass eyes stare vacantly. Her parted lips don't move, yet she speaks. "Rapa Hamen, heed my words. On the morrow, when food and wine are offered, refuse all. Beware." She vanishes, and I wake up, shaking. I start grooming myself to calm down, my paw midway to my face, when out of the corner of my eye, I see a big fat crocodile headed my way. I jump up and run, and he snaps, his jaws missing my tail by a whisker. I'm amazed at how fast I climb up the date tree. From the safety of a high limb, I look down. The monster is staring up at me. The jaws snap again. I spear some dates with my claws and throw them at his ugly head, hoping to scare him away, but he continues to snap his jaws. Using both forepaws, I break off a branch, wait for the monster to open his jaws again, then throw it in like a spear. He tries to swallow it, but can't. He tries to spit it out, but can't do that either. After a few moments of gasping for air and shaking his head, he moves off. From my vantage point, I see the pharaoh enter the garden. I climb down the tree and run towards my savior.
Rapahamen, there you are. How was your morning?
I'm about to describe my encounter with the crocodile when I hear the distant sound of alarmed voices. I prick up my ears.
The sacred crocodile is dead! The sacred crocodile is dead! Someone killed the sacred crocodile!
What I was going to tell the pharaoh gets stuck in my throat like a branch of dates. He doesn't hear the priest's lamentations, but he soon will. Oh no, now I hear the priests talking among themselves.
Has anyone seen anything? Who was the last one to see the crocodile alive?
I saw a cat up a tree feeding the sacred crocodile.
Let's find the beast. What did he look like?
It looked like the pharaoh's cat. The crisis has escalated. Bad enough if the pharaoh learned I'd killed the sacred crocodile, but now I'm going to be pursued by a mob of angry priests, and he might not be able to save me. Let's leave, I say.
Rapahamen, I must change, he protests.
Now that I take a good look at him, I realize he's still wearing his priestly attire, a leopard skin. I might suffer the same fate as the leopard if we don't get out of here. How can I make the pharaoh forego changing? Let's have a race, I say. The last one to reach the key is an ass.
I accept.
I go down on my fours, and in seconds I'm leading. But on the processional avenue, I keep skidding on those damned flower petals, and the pharaoh overtakes me. By the time I get to the quay, he's already on the small boat laughing.
Rapahamen,
he says as soon as I get on board. You are an ass. The oarsmen begin to row the boat down the canal to the royal barge and to safety. Better a live ass than a dead cat.